That's what you do. You buy these players that cost money and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on, with a smile on his face.
You just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative. Regurgitating the same old, same old, same old, every single day, without the sun. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first season, the first 2 episodes, the second season, something like that. Stallone.
We are on the site of the castle.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
Hi everyone, it's me again. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Or seems a long time, since we've been on about a football podcast. But here we are. Going to talk about the game tomorrow night. Going to ask for your predictions, your team selection, everything. And we'll be talking to the legend himself, the found Shankly boy, George Scott. We'll be talking to him in a moment or two. But I just want to thank these lads here for sponsoring the Frank Carlyle show, Gap Painting Services. You know that I just reiterate everything. If you've got anything, any decorating to do, get these in. Just get them in. They're in and out, first class they are. I've had them in myself. They're fully time served, they're fully insured. They're a great bunch of lads, do an excellent job. If you're an NHS worker, don't come home after long shifts. Just don't come home, try and decorate. Get these lads in because you get a special discount. And if you're an elderly person, get them in. Don't you struggle. Get them in because you get a special discount. Not only that, but they're all reasonable prices. They come out and give you the price. They give you the price. They're absolutely brilliant lads. They're in and out. First class job they do. Whatever you want, whatever you need to. And that's Gap Painting Services. And we have also this lot here. And we're coming to the end of the season, and the scarf or a badge, Michelle and Michael Dean, who own the shop, they're only a small business. Go up there. Look at these wonderful T-shirts and everything. All quality stuff. Just go in and have a look. Absolutely brilliant. Honestly, they really are. And reasonable prices. Smashing prices, in fact. And just go up there and before the game, or you can get them online at scarforabadge.com. Just do it. Have a look at the merchandise. And that's the Scarf and Badge. Lovely people, as I said. There's me again. And I just want to mention this. I'll bring George in right after this and he'll tell us a little bit more about it. And it's a night out. And it's called the Beat Leeds. Well, it's not called the Beat Leeds, but it's the Beat Leeds, which is a band. It's a tribute band. The Bootleg Beatles, to be honest. Great band. Really good band. They really are. Great Beatles music. And it's the 60s tribute night. The year we won the Cup, 65. 1965, the year we won the Cup for the first time under the great Shanks. And it's going to be a great night. You'll have ex-footballers going along there, giving little talks and whatever. It'll be a great night. 20 quid. And you get the meal that the lads were given after the victory. Think about that. 20 quid. Can't go wrong. Absolutely cannot go wrong. And there's the man himself, George, to tell us a little bit more about that night out. Hiya, George.
Hiya, Frank. Hi, chat. All the boys and girls in the chat. Lovely to be back again, Frank.
It's
all right? Everything fine, good. Yep.
So what do you think of that night? I'm sorry, George, I'll just put it on again. That's coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I was involved a little bit in this last week, finalising some arrangements for it. It's going to be the most amazing night, really, because we've got quite a few legends there. We've also got boys that played with Bill Shankly. We've got film of the match going on the screens. We've got music from the match, music from the 60s. Got a meal which is like, based on the meal that was enjoyed by the players after the banquet at the Grosvenor House Hotel. And we're going to have Chris Lawler and his wife Geraldine is going to be there, providing Chris's knee's all right. He's waiting for an operation, and if the operation it doesn't happen before the event, you'll be there. It's their anniversary as well. Funny enough, Chris Lawler, it's the 8th anniversary. When we played Inter Milan, the day before we played Inter Milan, that was when he got married to Geraldine. We've also got John Aldridge coming, and David Fairclough, and Howard Gale and Sammy Lee. And myself and Gordon Wallace, who scored the first goal for Liverpool in Europe ever. And we've got other boys who played in the FA Youth Cup final in 1963, like Phil Tinney and Grant McCulloch, played for England schoolboys and played for Liverpool in the final against West Ham along with me. You've got my good self there as well. I'll be helping a little bit along through the night. There'll be a lot of good stories, Shankly stories, music from one of the lads who sings. He's actually got a song which was sang on the coach to Villa Park for the semi-final, and fantastic lyrics that were written. So that's going to be done as well. So it starts at 6:00 and it's at Reds, in just by the station, not James Street, the other one next to James Street, Moorfields. It's Moorfields Station. So you can get there from any mainline train station. You can just come off the train straight into
around the corner, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a lovely venue. It's actually got photographs of the legends in the room. It's got shirts, a big photograph of Kenny going up the stairs, and a really wonderful night. And there'll be lots to drink, lots to eat, and lots of fun, and lots of merriment. So anybody that's around Liverpool, you can get your tickets from Red All Over the Land, the fanzine, Red All Over the Land, that John Pearman has been running for 29 years. Sells it at Anfield every game, has done for nearly 30 years. He's the organiser, and it's just gone to the Red All Over the Land website, and you can order your tickets there. And there's also tickets sold at Reds itself. And by the way, even if you're not able to get to this event, pop into Reds when you're in watching a match or after a match, or if it's a big game on, because the screens all around with the game on. It's a great atmosphere. So that's it, Frank, basically. So I'll be talking about it on the Anfield Wrap later on this month.
When you mentioned Gordon Wallace scoring Liverpool's first ever goal, that was against Reykjavik.
That was against Reykjavik, yeah, in 1964. Yeah, that was a fantastic achievement.
And we made it them 9-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
And everybody around the grounds, when the goals were going, you said, "What score is it now?"
Yeah, good. Yeah, Gordon scored the first one and Roger scored the other two. So, there'll be some great memories of the night there, that night. So, anybody that's wants to come, there you go. Get your tickets from Red All Over the Land, YouTube. Not YouTube, website.
I think people will be...
It'll be a sellout, Frank, I think. So, if it's the 1st of May, so it's a month away yet. But, if you come and get your tickets earlier...
Well, that's it's best to get us out there early.
Yeah,
Because instead of waiting for the last minute where you ends up with no tickets, because it'll be a sellout.
And by the way, it's all for charity. All the money raised is for. There'll be auctions, fantastic auction stuff. There's fantastic giveaways. It's all for charity, all for local charities. Nobody's making
one of the prizes, I think, is the FA Cup, a replica of the FA Cup.
Yeah, a complete replica of the FA Cup, and you can win that on a raffle on the night, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And there's photographs of Big Ronnie Yates shaking hands with the Queen in colour, signed by him, and all sorts of stuff there that night. It's incredible. It will be great. It will be great.
I'm just going to, before I bring on our friend Dino, I'm going to just see what these lads are saying. The boss, the capo, he says, seriously feel that there are far too many so-called LFC fans going public, who are, in my opinion, set up to make the players look bad, brackets Trent, instead of really exposing Henry's sharks and puppets asset building policies. Well, obviously, to be honest, the boss, we're talking about the game tomorrow night. We've got loads of time to be talking about this lot, Honestly, we have. If anything goes wrong, we'll be talking on. Being optimistic, I have given FC my like, even before it starts. So support the channel, people. Is that lovely? Thank you.
Lovely, yeah. Smashing that.
And the Youssef says, I'm nervous going into the derby. I think we all get nervous, to be honest, Youssef. And he carries on by saying, hope we don't play into their hands like the last time. I totally agree with that as well. And he picks his team. Alisson, Bradley, Kanate, Virgil, Robbo, McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Salah, Chiesa, Gakpo.
Bradley's not fit.
No, he's not. No. Well, he's training, isn't he? But excuse me. And Youssef says, but I think Slot goes for Jota / Diaz up front instead of Chiesa, which will really boil my blood, says Youssef. The Redbird, Yal. Why did he say it? Why is it Yal? That's an American terminology.
You all.
Oh, you all, yeah, but Yal.
Yal.
If we're all going into him, I've never talked like Yal. Anyway, Francine, how come you're on at 7 o'clock? Because George told me, he said, I've got to have my cocoa by 9:30, so can you start an hour earlier?
Don't listen to him, Francine. He's stitching me up. Although I'm not unhappy about it being 7, so it suits me. I'm more awake.
She says as well, Sophia and I was going to go to the Reds for the final against Newcastle.
Ooh, I'm glad you didn't. It's a horrible day.
That's my little granddaughter, you know what I mean? That's my little granddaughter. I'm sorry there, Youssef. I'm sorry, Youssef, their boss. And he's replying to Youssef, just checking, so we're almost every player back. Some haven't played since being injured. You would risk starting players that may not be match fit. You may be right, but just ask him. And Callum, the greatest cop-out in the world, except for my little granddaughter, Sophie.
Yeah.
He says, so we know the city has always been red. They haven't beaten us at Anfield with a crowd for 26 years. So Liverpool win, like we always do against Everton at Anfield. Enter them, you never walk alone.
Yeah, I so hope you're right.
Yeah, let's see what the Redbird says. And he says, if Trent, it's the way he's leaving, that's getting a lot of red somehow. same as myself. I was talking to Francine today, and I just give her my opinion. I just said, we could have signed a contract. We've netted him. We've put. It's not anyone else, but it's Liverpool who have put him where he is, and he could have at least signed a contract so that we could get money for him.
It's the money for him, yeah.
And Francine says Chiesa as a number 9.
Interesting.
And the Anfield, good evening, Frankie and George and chat. Now, these are Georges. Yeah, George, all the Scotch. These are Franks. They are only whatever they're. Is it chasers? And these are for you, Seth. Give some.
I'll take the whiskey.
The little soft drinks he gives them. And these are for the chats all over.
Yeah, good man, Anfield. Good man.
He's a lovely place. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to bring in this lad here. And it's Dino. Hiya, Dino.
Yeah, he is. It's my man. Hi, Dean.
Right. Good to be on. Good to get back to the proper stuff.
Back to real football, yeah. Real stuff, the real stuff. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
But as the Anfield says, hope everyone as well. Frankie and George, don't know about you, but these 2 weeks have been agony without our great club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody feels like that.
Yeah. It's surprising though, isn't it? You know the way, like I just said when I opened up, it seems ages since I've been on Talking Football.
Yeah.
And that break, is it? Now I'm going straight to you, Dee. Going straight to you. Okay. Remember the last time people were talking about the last time we had a break, remember? And we'll be fresh, we'll be this, we'll be that, it's going to be great. And we were awful. We were absolutely awful. Now, do you think that this break should improve us? Because there's no doubt we've been playing terrible. So do you think that this break, would you see a different Liverpool? Will you see a refreshed Liverpool? Or, do you think that they should be refreshed? Go ahead. Take it away.
To be honest, mate, I was one of them. So I was one of the ones who was saying that the break, the first break would have done us the world of good. But I'm hoping that a change of scenery for the players after Newcastle or going on international duty, get away from a bit of a damn squid performance. Just that change of scenery, different environments, and obviously, a lot of them had some good performances. A lot of them scored as well, which is good. So I think they'll all come back refreshed and know now that they've got 9 games now to give it their all and get this league title won.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask George the same, but I'm coming straight back to you, Dino. Okay, George, do you think that with this break that we've had, and as Dino said, some of the lads have been playing in international and playing well and scoring goals as well. So, what's your take on tomorrow night? Do you think that they'll be like wound up and ready to go?
Well, I think they will be wound up and ready to go, and if they're not, there's no excuse. I watched them in training the other day, and they looked sharp in training, pushing the ball around in the exercises. I mean, Ramadan's over now, so I'm hoping Salah and Kanate will be a bit fitter. Seeing sharp, looking at them in training, up ready. They're all up for it. They know they've got 9 games to be legends. But they're legends already, but to get the 20th Premier League Championship title along with Man United and become the most decorated club in the country, to win that Premier League, which we know is the Holy Grail. That's what we want. That's what they want. So they'll be up for it, I'm sure. There's no excuse at all if they're not up for it tomorrow night. So I'm pretty hopeful that, they'll do what I think one of the lads said before, keep the record up of the wins against Everton at Anfield. I mean, it's a long time since they beat us at Anfield, and let's hope that carries on. I'm quite confident, Frank. I think the boys will play well. Might be patient. Might have to be patient because Everton, again, they'll also be up for it. So, be interesting.
Yeah, because they're playing well, according to them, however they play, wherever they are in the league, they're supposed to be playing well.
Yeah,
But
30 points behind us at the moment. 30 points.
Yeah.
I mean, it's massive.
Exactly, so I think the league table speaks volumes,
Doesn't
about
lie.
this game tomorrow night. But as everybody knows, the derby game,
Yeah.
form goes out the window. It could end up anything, but we've always played well at home against the Everton. Do you know? Simple question. And I'm going right to you as well, George. Who would you play as a number 9 tomorrow?
Luis Diaz.
Okay. What about you, George?
Yeah, I'm probably thinking the same, actually. I'd like to see Chiesa playing because I think the lad deserves a chance, but I don't think Slot will play him from the beginning. He seems very reticent to give the lad a go, but I think he'll come on, but I don't think he'll start. It'll probably be the old guard. He's sticking with them, isn't he? I mean, give him a chance to redeem themselves from Wembley. And, I'm hoping if Gakpo's fit, he might be on the left and Diaz in the middle and Salah on the right.
Yeah.
But again, he hasn't played for a while, Gakpo, so he'd be a bit rusty.
I think we've missed Gakpo as well, haven't we? We've missed that,
Yes, definitely.
Well, if he's super fit now, because he did bring him on when he was unfit. He was terrible. Sorry?
He's one of the ones who's had a good international break. He scored and he set a couple up as well. So, he looks like he's fit and there and to go.
Yeah, and they're all the ones we're talking about all fast, aren't they? They've all got pace. Gakpo and Salah.
Well, I think that when Sean was talking about Trent, Real wouldn't pay, and he wouldn't pay the price of him. If he did sign a contract. That's the problem with
contract down. He's run his contract down on the advice of Real Madrid, Frank, and there's no getting away from it. He knows exactly.
Oh yeah.
He's used.
He's met Bellingham's been in his ear for about 2 years.
He's had a perfect storm of circumstances with Jurgen Klopp leaving in the summer, so we can say, well, I'll just wait and see how the new manager comes in, what he's doing, and he knows what he's doing. He knew he was leaving 18 months ago. He's had no interest in signing a new contract. Liverpool have offered him 4 deals with more money than what he's on now, and he's turned them all down. So, as far as I'm concerned, mate, he's done with me. I'm not going to sing his name in the crowd. I'm not going to wave him off. I'm just going to ignore him.
Well, this is it. You see, there's a big split between the fans, isn't there? A lot of fans feel exactly like you, and other fans are saying, well, it's his private contract, it's his life, he can choose, the usual stuff, But at the end of the day, I agree, he's swung on the coattails of the team all season towards his premiership, another medal in his back pocket. And it'd be very embarrassing in one way, I think, if we win the league and he's on that coach, and next week he's off to Real Madrid.
For me, it's just you've got a lad there who's living the dream, living every Liverpoolian's dream, every Scouser's dream, and for him to do to the club what he's done, the club have invested. Let's not forget, the club have invested a lot of time and money into nurturing him and giving him a platform to showcase his ability. And there's some fans who are saying, well, he owes the club nothing because they've won, but when the club have put that time into him and then they're getting nothing back on the return, I think he does owe the club.
Of course he does, and that's what I said. I've always said it. Loyalty to... Look, there's Kuna. Francine was saying today, Kuna has signed a contract, but he knows he's going.
Yes.
Because he said, I want to go and win trophies, so that Wolves will get something.
Yeah.
That's how it should be done, Frank. That's how it should be done. I agree with Dean Smith.
And as Dean said, and I've said many times, that we put him where he is today. We put him there. Liverpool, nobody else. Liverpool made him into the player that he is today. And Real Madrid wants him. But as Francis said, we're not paying any money for you. Because how Real Madrid are working now. They're getting players on freeze because they have to with this, financial thing or whatever it is, fair play. And that's wrong. That's wrong to go into players' ears. And he's got a Bellingham, hasn't he, who's doing that as well. Let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I turns out, Frank, it's funny that you're doing that, because Trent was doing that after he scored.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah.
No need for that, really. No need. I was childish, to be honest. You know, I mean, let's be honest about it. He's a fantastic player going forward. He's created fantastic goals for us, some great memories, corner taken quickly, all that stuff. But that'll be forgotten when he goes off to Real Madrid.
Exactly.
What short memories, you know. He could have been a legend, captain of the club. Could have been another Stevie Gerrard. You know, be a legend forever. He's going to Real Madrid now. Okay, he might win a La Liga or whatever it is they play for over there. And he might not even win the European Cup. It's not guaranteed. We won every single game in our section. We won 8 games, lost 1 by penalties. We went out. They lost about 3 or 4. And they got through by the skin of teeth.
Well, what do you think Youssef says? I'll go to you, George, first on this, then you, Dino. Youssef says, does Trent play a single minute for the remainder of the season? I'd be surprised if he does, George.
Well, according to Slot, the way my Slot's been very cagey as he has to be, I suppose. But he's not answering the questions at all at his press conference, deflecting all the questions about the contracts. And the way he's talking is Trent's desperate trying to get fit and he'll play him. So, you know, it depends, I suppose. I think they probably will, Frank, to be honest. You know, they probably will, but he might not be fit enough. He might hang on, or he might just let this drift on a bit. Not quite ready. And then Bradley gets fit and Bradley's in. I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess, really, the way it's all happened. I feel so sorry. I'm sad about it, to be honest. It shouldn't have happened like this.
Well, it has, George. Do you know what Youssef says? Does Trent play a single minute for the remainder of the season? I'd be surprised if he does.
Yeah,
I might be surprised as well, to be honest.
I mean, for me, I've made my feelings perfectly clear what I think about Trent in the situation. But for me, if Trent's fit at any point for the remainder of the season, then for me, he's got to play because of, you know, his ability. That's one of the reasons why I'm so annoyed. You know what I mean? Because he's a generational talent, and you know, players like that don't come around often. So yeah, he should play for me. Like, as long as his heart's in it, yeah.
Yeah, I think his heart would be in it, to be honest. I don't think professional players go out there and he's got his teammates, he's got the fans. He'd give 100%. But it's just sad that he's going to come to this situation. He may play the last 4 games and he's off. You know.
I think.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, mate. What annoys me as well, Frank, is that, you know, he's going to a rival in my eyes. You know what I mean? Real Madrid have been our rivals for European Cups. You know, we played them in you know, European Cup finals in the last 6 years. So we're going to face him. We're going to come across paths as well. You know what I mean? And that's also annoying that he's going to what I consider to be a rival.
Can you imagine? I'd be awful that. I'd be awful when he comes to Anfield, Real Madrid. Imagine he comes to Anfield, Real Madrid, and bangs a free kick in.
Yeah.
He will get dogs abuse.
Not off.
Yeah. So, you know, as you said, George, it's split the old fan base, to be honest. And I look at loyalty, you know, when we've been at work or when we've been, whatever, you know, you're loyal. You're loyal to friends. You're loyal to your work colleagues. You're loyal to everybody. And especially the people who have, just imagine working from the very beginning when you leave school, university, or whatever, and you go into a firm, and you know, you become a great whatever you're doing, and you're trying to get seconded, and then all of a sudden, everything that they've taught you, that particular company or firm or whatever, and all of a sudden you just go, I'm going, and go to a rival firm who've wanted you, you know. There's no loyalty. And I always thought that the likes of the Scousers, the likes of Trent, you know, he even said, didn't he, you know, you see him in a little LFC TV documentary where you see him, well, you don't see him walking up the stairs, but he said, up the steps onto the pitch. He said, when I first stepped onto the pitch, it was like heaven. That's what he said. And he's always quoted as saying, I just one day I'd love to be captain of Liverpool. That's all gone. And that's the way I look at it. So I'm going to move on now. And
You're right.
as the boss said, let me go down a few here, please, boys. The Redbirds, he's talking to the Red. Mind you, if a club was getting money for Trent, it wouldn't mean that Henry spends it on players. He's absolutely right there. And the Anfield Road to Dino, never let anyone say I leave anyone out of my rounds. Here you go, lads. And he knows that you don't drink.
Nice, lads.
Yeah, it's orange juice.
And the Anfield says, interesting point, Frank. Whenever we have a break, our level and pattern of play drops off. I mean, I've said it all the time, you know, and it does break off. Anyway, Paul Owen, the break came at the right time for us, and we can't be any worse than we were against Newcastle. Do you know what I didn't like Klopp saying, Slot saying today? I said, what you said that for? Shouting at the telly on my own, sitting there listening to him. When he said, I'd rather go out against PSG than anyone else.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
We don't like going out to anybody.
That's nonsense. That's nonsense.
I think he
What a load of my
misconstrued.
friends were listening, so I can't say. Little
I think
Sophia.
words have been a bit misconstrued though. Like I think he means he'd rather go out with a team like of equal ability or you know better football.
No, it's anyone.
I didn't
That's
think
the way
about
I look at it. It's anyone, no matter who. No matter who it is we play. I don't want to go out against them.
No, it was marginal. That game was marginal. It could have gone either way.
I think that was wrong for him to say, by the way. I hated that when he said that. I fucking did.
Can imagine.
Swearing, Sophia.
Shanks wouldn't have said that. Shanks wouldn't have said that.
It was AI who said that. Anyway, this Everton team are unbeaten, says Callum, against us for 2 calendar years. So I feel they won't fear coming to play. So it'll be in our hands. Go ahead.
We've got more to lose than them, Frank, haven't we? We've got a bit more to lose. They have nothing to lose because they're safe now. And they're not going to go anywhere but middle of the table, the best. Where this is a big, big game for us.
Yeah. And as the boss says there, it doesn't always work for the lads when we have a break. But this time they should be up for it. After the rest, I'm going for a break. Hopefully, hang on, is that it? Hopefully. For a break. Oh, to be back on later. Oh, okay. All right, boss. See you later. If you come back. And the Anfield Road. Yeah, Youssef says we only need 4 wins. I can't hardly see with these glasses on, you know. These are my distant glasses. Yeah, anyway, hello, people, says the Anfield Road. Hit the likes, please, or Frankie will send the dodgy men around. He borrows off Kev from Nottingham. You've been warned. And that's nice. That's nice. It's nice that. I'm just going to go right down. I'm sorry if you think that I'm missing you out. Oh, there's the vlogs there. And hello, anyone. Hello, everyone. Hope all is good. A nice win tomorrow, please, so I can get the 2 losses out of my mind finally. It's back to back. Hello, Frank, George, Dino, and chat says Edward.
Right, mate.
And I'm gonna go back to you there in a moment after this one. A good few of our players played well in international, so confidence boost heading into these games. And I agree with him there because, as Dino said at the beginning, and you know, lots of people are saying, you know, we've played well. Individual players have played well. So tomorrow. I don't know. I don't like derby games. Never have done. Never will do. Don't like going to them. And but it's not going to be a walkover. That's in my opinion. You know, correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
It's not going to be a walkover because Everton supposedly are playing well, and they'll be up for it as well. They will be up for it. I just hope that they don't start clogging, if you know what I mean. So, Dino, you listening?
Go on, mate.
In goal, right? In goal. Is it Kelleher or the other fella who's like, he was injured, now he's back, apparently? Allison, who did you have in goal?
Well, I'd put myself for Kelleher, so definitely not going to be Kelleher. It's got to be Allison, hasn't it? You know, best
100%.
keeper in the world, best keeper in the Prem, one of the best keepers in the history of Liverpool Football Club. It's not even close. It's not even a conversation for me.
And he left him out, though, didn't he, against Newcastle?
Who, Kelleher?
Yeah, he left him out slot, didn't he? He
Yeah.
left Allison out, which was the gravest mistake, in my opinion.
I think that was with like a little farewell and a little thank you for Kelleher. I think Kelleher's going, and it was arguably his last game for Liverpool, pending Allison, staying free.
Yeah, but then again, he could have said that. And he could have done that, like with the games coming up. If we win the league, there's a few games, he could have just picked him and let him play out the remainder of the season. If we've already won the league,
100%.
The final, that was dreadful.
He's a great keeper, Kelleher, but he should never have played in the final. Should never have played in the final. You can't leave the world's best goalkeeper out in the final when you've battled all the way through to get there.
Exactly.
Sorry, didn't agree with it at all. I couldn't get any rationale behind that.
I couldn't, and that's what I mean about him saying today. I'd rather lose. No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't rather lose against anybody, like Plymouth Argyle. I wouldn't. Fuming when he said that.
Yeah, it's like Shank saying, "I'd rather lose to Manchester United."
Exactly. Yeah, most probably he would have said the same.
Yeah, because they're top of the league. I'd rather lose to them. It's never happened.
He hasn't a clue about us, He's still learning about us. He's still learning about the city. He hasn't a clue.
Tomorrow night's a big test, Frank. It's a big test tomorrow night. The crowd will be right behind him. 100% atmosphere at Anfield. Because that's where we got at Goodison. So we can give it back in spades tomorrow.
Youssef says Luis Diaz isn't physical enough. I don't know. He gets stuck in there, Diaz.
Yeah, he fights his corner.
He holds his own.
He does hold. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad we agree on that. Youssef, he resigned from the pod now. He want to transfer over to someone else. Like Trent.
Free transfer.
Come to Real with Trent. I'm only joking, Youssef.
Send him on loan.
He's some Madrid fan now called Frank Carlyle or something like that.
Frank Carlyle. I don't know. The Carlyles are the sixth family. I don't know anything about that. I don't know what he's going on about, to be honest. But anyway, do you know, like tomorrow night, we're at Anfield. We've had that break, as Dino said. We all know, we've been waiting. We're chomping at the bit. Chomping at the bit. The players hopefully, they'll be chomping at the bit. Won't we?
Absolutely, 100%. They'll be going for it as a team. They will, definitely, I'm sure.
Dino?
Well, if they're not, mate, they risk allowing Arsenal to get back into it, don't they? So it's entirely up to them. If you can't get up for a derby and you can't get up for a little stretch where you could make yourself, the champions of England, then why are you playing football?
Absolutely, Dino. 100%, mate.
To win the league.
This is a key time of the season, isn't it? This is the key time now. It's all about the next 6 games or so.
The games, because this is like the last time of the season now where we're going to have 2 games in the space of 4 days. So we just got to double down, go all out, get these 2 games done, and win these 2 games. I'll come next week and I'll sing champions.
Yeah. And also we got home games. We win the home games and we're there.
Yeah. You've got a week between games then, you know what I mean? There's no excuses, tiredness won't fit.
And don't forget, Arsenal's got to win every game. They've got to win every single. They can't afford to drop a draw even.
No, they can't. And they're playing tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, they're playing tonight, yeah.
No one tell us the score. I don't want to know.
No, I don't want to know the score.
No, this is what I keep telling people, no matter what it is. Because when I first started off these pods a couple of years ago, people were coming out and saying stuff. I don't want to know, because it distracts from what you're saying. And the Liverpool vlogs here says, Lee, I know Lee. I think Trent would get booed out of the building if he came on, to be honest. But you may make your own bed. You have to lie in it. The grass won't be greener. He'll find out that. I just want to go down here. I want to get back to these things. And as we said there before about Kuna, and he said Wolves will get the release clause. That's what Trent should have done.
Yeah.
Get something back. And the Anfield says, that's a top point, lads. That's a top point. I'll just add that the way the club has put out false news to deflect Trent's business is shady also. But totally agree there, on Frank's points. And I've got to tell that Francine sent one in as well. Paulo, Trent has been a fabulous player, but when you walk out, see the emphasis on walk on a free, you're really sticking 2 fingers up at the club. I couldn't agree less than that. I was told Americans allow, says Francine, their players to go on a free as it puts an end to big weekly pay, and they can buy 2 players for that money they've saved. But that's been done before, hasn't it? And Edward says, disrespectful, the hands yesterday against West Ham. That's what you're saying there. I couldn't understand, says Neil's a friend of mine. I couldn't understand if Liverpool weren't challenging for titles. Maybe he thinks FSG lack of investment in the future looks bleak. Don't forget, Trent was very close to Klopp, and someday the truth will come out. I think Klopp's going to Real. And Klopp could have had a word with him, and he's, said, well, if he'll go in there. Because don't forget, he's still in touch with all the players. And if he goes to Real, he'll be under Klopp.
I'd be very surprised if Klopp went there, Frank, because I think Real Madrid stand against everything that Klopp's against. It just doesn't seem like the right fit to me. I think Barcelona would be more Klopp's fit.
Yeah, he was like Dortmund, when the yellow wall, Liverpool, the cop, the socialism, all that stuff.
Paul is the underdog, but he likes that, the challenge, you know what I mean? If he goes to Real Madrid, there's not much of a challenge, and also, their ideologies, conflict.
Well, you've got, you can talk about loyalty all we like, we can talk about loyalty. And I don't think there's any loyalty, especially with managers, to be honest. There's no loyalty at all, no matter what Klopp has done for us. There's no loyalty. You've only got to look at the Sloot. Sloot said before the season finished and everything to his, he said, I'm going to the Liverpool. He never said he's going. He said, I want the Liverpool job. What was Feyenoord supporters thinking? What if Klopp turned around and said that? I want the Inter Milan job. I want the Real Madrid. So there's no loyalty with managers, in my opinion. There really isn't.
There's not.
You've only got to look at Kenny. You've only got to look at Kenny. He went there, after Liverpool. He walked out on us, don't forget. He walked out. You know, you might think, oh well, after the Hillsborough and all that, he walked out and managed 3 teams: Blackburn, Newcastle, Celtic. Don't forget. So, where's the loyalty with Kenny there? There's none.
I think, though, Frank, with the likes of Feyenoord, I think there's an acceptance of realism of what they are. They know what they are and they know what league they're in. So I think they accept that, players and managers are going to look to go to superior teams and leagues.
Well, there's Elmo. Elmo says, the difference between Macca leaving and Trent is that Macca was leaving our club, not getting Champions League football.
It's true.
We can't get over, no matter what, we can't get over Trent leaving. We're very diverse on it. People say good luck to him and all this nonsense. Once you leave Liverpool, that's it. You've gone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wish him. As George said before, what if he scores at Anfield? A free kick. Because they are Madrid against us in the Champions League. The thing is, are you going to jump up in the air, with these fans who are saying, good luck, Trent, are they going to jump up in the air and say, that was a cracker, that wasn't it? It's just ridiculous.
Look, Trent will slip back. He'll slip back down the memory bank, won't he? People still remember what he did, but it won't be quite sharp.
Yeah,
no. Time goes on, he'll be looked upon as a Real Madrid player, and he's been at Liverpool for God knows how many years. He's born and bred here. His whole life's been here. His mates, everything, the teammates, the club, the success he's achieved. To just bugger off to Real Madrid, completely different culture. Money. I'm very old-fashioned about this, Frank. This money, it's just taking over the game that I love. It really has. Everywhere you look, the only thing they're interested in is money. I don't bring this. Trent wants to be the Ballon d'Or. He's not going to get the Ballon d'Or.
No,
he's not. You win the Spanish league, and you might win the European Cup.
I think that was an excuse, to be honest, because he knew that he was going. And one of the little group of questions was, what would you rather be, or win the Ballon d'Or, or be Liverpool captain, and he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that told you a lot, didn't it? I'm disappointed in him, I have to be honest. I'm happy what he did for us, like Dean. You can never take away from it. But he'll not win as many trophies in Madrid as he's won at Liverpool, because he's 26 now. I mean, how many trophies can you win in a year? Maybe in Real Madrid, a couple?
Yeah. Well, the Elmo James Trent must play when fit. Would you agree with that, Tino?
100%.
He must play when fit.
Conor Bradley, but, Trent's on another level altogether.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Some kids, who are on Anfield now. And we're coming to now a phase where we've got about 1 or 2 seasons left with the likes of Mo, with the likes of Virgil. So, are they going to be replaced as the likes of Kwanzaa? Is he going to be good enough to fill the boots? Don't forget that filling the boots of these players, of Virgil and as young Dope, for example, good enough to fill the boots of Mo Salah. Now,
if you had Kwanzaa and Gomez in the middle of the back four, how can you compare that with Van Dijk and Gunnar?
Exactly. It's as simple as that. And we've got to look at, I've been watching them under 21s and they're dreadful. I've been watching, absolutely dreadful. So, and I won't, surely these are not the future. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. Liverpool vlogs, seen a Carragher interview when he was 26 being asked about going to a big club, meaning Madrid. He was, no, I'm not having that. what the club is bigger than. What club is bigger than Liverpool Football Club?
Yeah, well, I don't agree with everything Jamie says, but I agree 100% with that. That's what Trent should be saying, in my view.
What do you say to that? Go ahead, Gino.
I remember the interview. I remember watching it. It was just before the Champions League final. It was to do with Steven Gerrard. Because obviously there was all the rumours and that about Chelsea and Real Madrid and all that, and he was saying, he asked Carragher the same question, would you leave Liverpool for a bigger club? And Carragher was like, what's bigger than Liverpool Football Club?
Bigger club, yeah.
It was that Jeff Shreves from Sky Sports News doing the interview.
Yeah. Jan Friedel says, Gino, I watched the Macca interview. It changed my whole opinion on Macca when he left with his mum and everything else. The club let him down.
Yeah. 100%.
And I think his bromance with Jude played a big factor, says Neil Brother.
Yeah.
So we get away from this thing. I want to talk. Zaz, big up Frank and panel.
It does.
Lovely to and the I'll caps lock. I'll caps lock my text for you, Frank, lad.
So capitals.
And my glasses are, my reading glasses. They're dead awkward to wear, honestly. So I'm comfortable in these things.
Like a new ones.
Yeah, every one of them are new. I think Klopp would go anywhere where there is no Edwards and Hughes.
Well, that's anywhere but Liverpool, isn't it?
That's it. Do you know what? That's a cracking comment by the vlogs. That's a cracking comment. And Paul always says, years ago, players had loyalty, but it was the club who had all the power. But nowadays, the players have all the power and really do what they want. I think one of the biggest influences in his own ego is that Mbappe. He held everybody, all the clubs he held them to ransom. Yeah. Every one of them. Mbappe. Horrible man, him.
That's true, though, what Paul says there, because I can testify to that from my own experience. In my day, and even after my day, the clubs held all the cards. Players played for a year, 2 years, and if you weren't good enough, they just got rid of you. And if you were, they kept you, and you couldn't get out of it, or they put you in a transfer list. Now the players have got all the cards now. Just wind their contracts down, they can walk away and get all the money they would have got as a transfer in the back pocket. That's what's going to happen.
You know Shankly personally. We just love Shankly, for what he was, for being one of us and making us one of us, if you know it, one of them.
Absolutely, Frank.
The football club. What would he say today if he would have been manager today? And don't forget, he'd never change his outlook or anything because, from his day to like today, he'd never change his values or loyalty. I'm talking about Shankly here. What do you think he would have said to it?
I don't think Bill would have coped today. It's saddened to say that, but I'm not sure he would have coped. There's too much powerful interests. It's just a completely different game. He would have stuck to his principles, but at the end of the day, there's powerful things would have been against him. I mean, it's not even board of directors now, it's countries. You've got the likes of Man City owned by a country, Newcastle owned by investment funds, and that's just foreign to Bill Shankly. He was a football man. He loved the fans, he loved the players, he loved the whole atmosphere of the game, the club. That was his life. He wouldn't understand any of this now. He really wouldn't.
But we don't understand it either.
Yeah.
And it's just that I tell you who's given them the power. And whoever suggested bringing in agents.
Yeah, that's right.
They're the biggest culprit. They've gone like that, I'm your agent, I'll talk for you, you know what I mean? And this is what I'll do. I always remember some fella from the entertainment business. He came up where I was living once, And there was a ring at the bell. They opened the door, and this fella standing there, and he went, hello, Frank. He said, I'm here. I said, yeah, come in. I didn't know who he was, what he wanted. But what he wanted, he said, I'll become your agent. Now, even before I said, you what? I'm only a historian. Anyway, he went, I want to be your agent. And he put this piece of paper down. Now, I'm lecturing at the time. I'm going to work. That was my bread and butter.
Yeah.
And he went, on Thursday. That's what he said to me. On Thursday, a piece of paper in front. He said, you're appearing at the Douglas, some hotel in Douglas, Isle of Man, to an audience full of Scousers. He said, they know all about you. We're going there. We'll fly over for the, this is on the Friday, but we're flying over on the Thursday. And I said, hang on, I can't just pack up here and go. I can't do it. Why can't you? I said, I'm working first and foremost. I work on a Thursday. I work on a Friday. That's my bread and butter. I can't just go in there willy-nilly and go. And I've got a partner there. I said, what am I going to say to her? Can she come? He said, oh, no, it's just you. I said, no. And this is, now I'm just a historian, so you can imagine what agents do with, the likes of these lads.
Well, Trent's brother's his agent, isn't he?
There you go.
And how many millions is he going to get? He'll get millions.
But he made him come out of Liverpool. Well, I don't mean the club, I mean the city. Apparently.
Yeah, agents that take a fortune off the players. I mean, they're negotiating with the agents, not the player, are they? The clubs are negotiating with the agents.
I just like to know, when as Real Madrid being an attraction to English players, it's always looked down its nose at the English Scouts players. They were fined in 2016 4 times for racist chants.
Yeah. Wow.
And they haven't changed. They haven't changed. And I am for Frank. I had the agent to manage all the crumpets he had been flocking at his letterbox. I'll be ages. I wish. But I don't know. I don't know any more about this. Let's change tack, lad, please.
Yeah, move forward. I think, Frankie,
he's going, and that's the end of it. Let him go. And I hope. Yeah. I know that. I'll just finish on this, and I want your opinion. I hope he doesn't play, because I know it's wrong for me to say, because as you said, George, the greatest free kick ever was by him, not free kick, corner kick, was by him. That beat Barca that night. That was the greatest ever corner kick ever taken. His legacy is there. He had loads of legacies that he's had. And I always remember him when we scored against Spurs, the second goal, and he knew, we've won the game then when Origi scored. And he never ran like that. He ran like that, Do you know what I mean? The exciting, he didn't have to put his out, he just ran. Yeah. And it was a breath. This is Trent. Now, I don't care what anyone says, honestly, he's been tapped up by Real Madrid.
Of course.
Bellingham. The pair of them. And that's why he's going on a free, because as Francine says, and she's spot on, Real Madrid won't pay any fees for anybody. It's all fees. That's who they're getting. That's who they're getting them on.
Yeah, sure. Please. What about the murals? He's got a big mural just out round the corner from. I'm just a Liverpool lad.
That's the cool on the wall. So what's that gonna sit? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to stay up to you. Anyway, let's change that. All right, Dino. Again, sorry there, mate. Go to midfield. The back four. Okay, but let's start at right back.
I mean, it all. I mean, Slot said he'll have to make a last-minute decision on Bradley. So obviously, if Bradley's fit enough, Bradley should start. But I don't want Kwanzaa there. I'm not a fan of him. He doesn't have that natural. Doesn't bring any natural wit. And maybe Curtis Jones. He's played there before. Maybe Curtis could do a job. I think he'd have maybe a little bit more legs to get up and down. Provide a little bit more natural width, and then your centre half, they pick themselves: Van Dijk and Kanate, and Robertson.
Yeah.
Okay, George, who's your right back?
Yeah, that's not a bad shout with Curtis Jones, to be honest. I know it's out of his position, but he has played there before and done quite well. I still think he'll play. I think he'll play Kwanzaa. I think he'll play Kwanzaa, and I'm not saying who I'd play it, but I mean, even Endo, it could be an opportunity right back because he's a bit of warrior, isn't he? You get stuck in a derby, the only thing he might get sent off because he's a bit over the top aggressive. Curtis Jones, he's a classy player going forward, and they may have worked that one, but I think it'll be Kwanzaa, Kanate, Van Dijk, and Robertson.
Okay, all right, that's so. It's a toss-up, isn't it? Really, I hope Bradley just gets some minutes.
Yeah, definitely Bradley if he's fit. Definitely. I just worry about Kwanzaa sometimes. Like Dean, I'm a bit worried about him making a mistake. He just sometimes he hasn't quite got that confidence.
No, that's why I said at the beginning, if you remember, is he good enough to fill the boots of Virgil van Dijk? And I don't think he is. He's a big lad, don't get me wrong. His physique is brilliant for the young lad, and he can only fill out more. But it's going to be very, very hard to fill the boots of Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah. They're the two main players. Bradley, I think he gives it 110%, that lad. And that tackle on Mbappe, that's unbelievable. And that's the fire as excuse me, as Dino says in his belly, playing for Liverpool is 100%. There. You can see it. I'm playing for this.
He can go forward as well. He can go forward down the wing. I've seen him get across there and get into the byline. So he'll take no prisoners. He'd be great.
No. He's a better defender than Trent. He's a natural.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's a bit of a throwback. He's a bit of a throwback. A bit of Stevie Nicol about him, I think. We've got great energy getting up and down. He can supply assists and maybe even a goal himself, which he did last season against Chelsea. So my only concern with Bradley is just his injuries. That's
the problem with him. He's become
the thing is, Dino, as well. I always said this to Frank in the past. If you're good enough, you take a chance. He took his chance. He came on. Nobody knew really much about him. What did he do? He laid a goal and scored a goal.
Yeah.
Remember that fantastic game he had? So he broke in. Kwanzaa hasn't quite done that. He's come in, made a couple of bad mistakes, got taken off. It's not been quite the same story with him.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't. It really hasn't. But anyway, okay. So we've sorted, or we tried to sort out the right back. Right. As I've Curtis, personally, I'll have Curtis Jones there.
Yeah, I'm liking that more and more. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd rather have him there, Curtis.
A Scouser as well. He gets stuck into Everton.
If you think about what he did the last time,
Curtis
against Everton.
He's got to play anyway. He's got to play.
And he ran over, Don't you do that? So he'll be up for it, young Curtis. Okay. Who do you play alongside him, Dino?
In defence?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I named back four. Van Dijk and Kanate.
I only wanted one.
Sorry, mate. you cut out the thing does like.
Oh, shut off. You just wanted to get.
He's testing you, Dean. He's testing you.
Kanate.
George, who would you play alongside him?
There's got to be Canate. I mean, we've no option there, have we?
Okay, stay with you, George.
Van Dijk again. Van Dijk.
That's going to be Virgil, isn't it?
It's got to be Virgil. Yeah. That's absolutely Virgil.
Okay, now where's the left back? Now, do you know what? I'm going to say this. You know, Robertson. Let's put Robertson, right? Now, if Robertson left next season, you know, the end of the season, he'd be waived because of his loyalty. You know, he hasn't asked for anything. He just does what Robertson's done for the last 7 or 8 years, playing for Liverpool. And he's been, you know, he's just been so loyal.
Yeah.
And there's the big difference between Trent and Robertson, if you know what I mean. And the fans are just, you know, say good luck. And I'd say good luck to the lad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Even if he stays with us next season, it doesn't matter. You know, as a backup to a left back. But anyway, having said that, for me, it's got to be Robertson at left back, Dino.
Yeah, Robertson 100%. I mean, even though you know there's signs that his legs are going, one thing you can never doubt with Robertson is the commitment. The commitment is always there, and in a derby, it's commitment that you want and need. So yeah, 100% Andy Robertson, easy decision.
Yeah, experience as well. He's got experience, international player, hundreds of games for Liverpool. He knows what it's all about. Played in lots of big games. Won't phase him. I agree with Frank. It's coming towards the end. Everybody does in the end come towards the end. But I hope we get at least a really good, strong end to the season from him. And then next year, if they buy Kerkers or whatever, he can be a backup for a season, then go with his head held high.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how the goalkeeper and back sorted out. So I'm going back to what these lads are saying. The Red Bird. Rumour has it that Real will give Trent 70 million as a sign-on fee.
Yeah, I couldn't be less interested in that.
That's what you were talking about, George, before.
Yeah.
It's just
silly money.
It's just gone beyond the pale, to be honest. And Paul, how about this, lads? The British government should do LFC a favour and tax American owners at 75%. Now, Starmer would rather just tax the bus driver, you know, and the girl who works in the canteen rather than the owners. That's what I'm a very political minded, as you know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know about it. I could go on and on and on about that, but I won't. But it's a good point there, Paul. It's a really, really good point, and they should. That'll get rid of him. And the blog says, I think a lot of fans hope he changes his mind like Gerrard did. Why tarnish a legacy just to play with a mate? Someone play a DVD to him of all the good things that happened might work. If not, Sodom.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that would even come close to his mind. It's a good point.
And Callum, one of our great cop-outs, he says Quansah, Canate, Van Dijk and Robbo.
Yeah.
So he's picked his little back four. And Paul says, Paul Owie, that is, Quansah will play tomorrow for the strength in the air, and hopefully Macca won't be marking there. So
yeah, bloody better not be.
It's absolutely their tactics. They were tactics. You can't. There's nothing else.
Slot tried to defend that. He said, "Oh, you can't score from the edge of the box with a header." We did. We did.
That's why I said at the time. I don't know about you, Dino. I said that Alisson would have got that. Alisson would have got that.
I think he would. Yeah.
I said, you know, on the show after Wembley, I said, you know, that Kelleher was at fault for me. His feet and everything, he was just all set wrong. Just
yeah, flat-footed. Yeah, he was leaning the wrong way, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Couldn't get back.
The king. He's second in the league to my grandson. You know, in the watch.
Not much in it, is there? Cool, quick, Liz.
No, there's not much in it at all. He was down today with his mum to see me, with Francine.
9 games left.
Look at that, eh? That's upside down. I always put it upside down. I've got a cracking picture of it, and I keep asking to. No, I haven't sent him it. You know, Jason, rather than me take this out and put it up like that, cracking photograph of it. And that's the watch that either the king or Ben can win. I just hope that they don't think it can't be fixed, can it? You know what I mean?
No, it can't be fixed.
Can't be fixed. I wouldn't like anyone to think that I've done that. The Anfield Road. Oh yeah. The king. I'm sorry, boys, but I cannot forget about Trent walking around against Man U a couple of days after Real Madrid after Real put a New Year's Eve bid on him. He gave up on us then. He's a snake. Shouldn't play again.
Yeah. My brother-in-law knows people who are in like the higher echelons of like the Liverpool hierarchy, and I Trent was meant to ask the club to accept the bid that Real Madrid made for them in January, and he was fuming that the club didn't. Trent wanted to go in January.
He played terrible that day, didn't he? He never tried a leg that day.
He played like he was sulking, basically.
It's shocking, absolutely shocking.
But he wanted to go in January, so he wanted to give up on Liverpool winning the league. So
you're right, yeah. I think that's a great comment you've just made there, Zeno. Because if they would just said to Trent, you know, say like Slute or anybody else would be that's stupid. Edwards, don't like that Edwards, by the way. But if he said, "Do you want to leave in January?" And if he had said, "Yeah," that's just turning us back totally on Liverpool. And I'm talking about the city as well. That's doing that to them, you know. So I'm going. And that's what he's doing now, in my opinion. But we've said it all before. Anyway, the Anfield Road, Alisson, Quansah, Ibu, Verge, Robbo, Endo, Gravenberch, McAllister, King Mo, and Szoboszlai and Gakpo. That's his team. And Paul says to are you playing John further forwards? That's a good point. I'm going to be asking the lads that, by the way. Is Gomez supposed to be back before the end of the season? I don't think it matters now. Do you boys? That's a good one by the blogs. Good shout there.
Well, good to have him back, but I don't think it matters. It'd be good to increase his.
What do you think, Dino? Does it matter if he is or isn't?
I don't think it matters, but I mean, he's stepping up his rehabilitation, and you know, it could be an option if we need him. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, not too concerned either way.
The thing is, as well, you know, he's been a loyal player for Liverpool. He's just got on with it.
Yeah.
He's been brought into the team, he's been dropped, and he's been brought in, never ever moans. He just gets on with what he's told to do on the pitch. And I think he's a very loyal player. And it'll be great if he could get some minutes near the end of the season for a championship winning side.
Yeah, that would be good.
You know what I mean?
Fortunate, hasn't he, with his injuries? He's had some horrific injuries. Like, I think he's done his ACL twice. He's broke his ankle. You know what I mean? He's lucky to still be playing, really. Yeah,
he is. No, he
is lucky. He's had lots of injuries over the years. Bad ones.
And the Anfield Road to the Paul Owen. I have been screaming for this change. He does it for Hungary. This is about Szoboszlai in a 3 deep 9, and McAllister in the position he plays for Argentina. He is brilliant at number 10. Right over to you, Dean, about Szoboszlai and a number 10.
I like the idea of it as what Raw says. If he can bring his form for Hungary and start taking a bit more responsibility with the ball and being a bit more selfish instead of always wanting to lay it off, then I think it's a good option to have. But I just at the moment for whatever reason he just doesn't seem to take that added responsibility on and shooting more often. I love him as a player. I think he's great. He's got every tool, but he can be also frustrating at the same time.
Yeah. He tries the extra pass a lot, doesn't he? Instead of just picking a spot in the net and having a go. Because he's got a powerful shot. He scored some good goals from distance.
He scored some cracking goals. And people forget this, by the way. When they're slagging him off, they forget that the goals he scored. And even Diaz, people have criticised Diaz. And he scored some cracking goals and very important goals as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, the bloke says Quansah, when he came on for Trent against PSG, played well and got a few headers. Almost scored twice, I think. Didn't he hit the post? Yeah, he did.
Yes, PSG.
Yeah. Play him tomorrow.
Unlucky.
Definitely played.
So we played against Newcastle in the final on the Sunday, and he didn't really offer much. Even his passing to Mo down the right hand side, it just lacked the same conviction. That's obvious because he hasn't got Trent Alexander-Arnold's ability. But I just don't think he brings much there for me.
No.
Of height as an extra body. That's it.
Leader Wizkid says, big up Frank, George, Dino, and chat.
Lee Wizkid, great.
And Paul always says to the Anfield Roar, it's time to get Dom a run further up as we have struggled at. Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
I think so. And as you said, George, he's got a terrific shot on him.
Yeah.
And he can find a net. He can. And he has been unlucky in some, I forget what game it was. And when he went through, great ball put through to him, and he tried to chip the keeper, but he was surrounded by other players besides the keeper. I forget who it was.
Yeah, when he gets to the edge of your box, it's dangerous. He just pulls that foot back, and as I go, you can bang him in.
And Edward says Kelleher didn't look like he had stretched enough. That was for the goal against Newcastle in the final.
Not the first time against Newcastle he done that as well. Let's not forget.
That cross cost us 2 points last minute again. Last minute.
I think though, no matter how what we're saying or anything, I can't get out in my mind the way we've been playing. And don't forget we've lost 2 on the bounce, back to back, the last 2 games. And what got me, and again about the depth of the squad, was Plymouth Argyle. That got me. And we weren't good enough on the depth. We were awful against the bottom side who's been getting tanned every single week. And that's wrong. This is Liverpool Football Club. And it shows the depth.
Because Slott's been playing the same players, Frank, every game, hasn't he? He's making no changes, so they're obviously going to be tired, and that's what's caused us a lot of problems because we haven't got the depth behind them, which proved against Plymouth. We haven't got the depth behind those guys that are playing every week, so they're getting tired, and they ran out of steam against Newcastle. Just hope they've got the steam back again for tomorrow.
Well, as Christopher says, he says, hey, Frank and everyone, I hope Moyes keeps up his records at Anfield. He's never won.
Yeah. 100%.
Everton have been playing quite well. I mean, it's a bit misleading because they haven't won him for themselves. So it's like, they forget to tell you that part. But
draws, yeah.
If Moyes approaches the game positively, then Everton could probably cause us a couple of problems. But I think if Moyes retreats as David Moyes tends to do at Anfield, then I think we'll come unstuck and we will find a way.
Yeah, and they'll hold back. They'll go back and hold on.
Yeah.
Look for the break.
Yeah.
Edward says Gomez should get his testimonial. He's there 10 years. Don't get many testimonials today. That's a cracking comment, isn't it?
Don't give them now, do they? They don't give testimonials now.
Because of the money that they earn. They used to be like
Exactly. In the old days, they did that to boost up the man's, amount of money he's got when he was retiring, because they were going out of football into the world without any job to go to.
Thank God.
I used to love going at the old testimonials, sitting on the old cop, and I remember Peter Beardsley's one against Newcastle, and I was sat in the old cop on the bars with my dad and that, and I remember Mike Hooper saved the penalty, and I was only about 8 at the time, and the cop just went like crazy, and it was like it always stuck in my mind, even though it was only a testimonial. Like, it was mad, and like the fella who was stood next to us was the barber who cut my hair on the Saturday, and all that. It was just mad, like, you know what I mean? Like, my dad was like talking to him and all that. It was just great.
Well, you can imagine in the old days when the guys were on about 20 quid a week and eventually up to 100 quid a week or whatever, maybe even £300 or £400 a week in the 60s, late 60s, 70s. By the end of the season, they get a testimonial. Remember Billy Little? Billy Little, 50,000 at his testimonial. Well, he never earned more than £20 a week as a footballer. A legend for the rest of the world. But that 53,000 set him up. Might have been £1 a ticket, a fortune in them days. That set him up to go into his life after football. And that's what the testimonials were supposed to do.
Yeah.
If he stayed for 10 years plus at a club.
Tommy Smith had his after, didn't he?
Yeah, Tommy did. Yeah, he got one.
Yeah.
I think Chris Lawler. Did Chris Lawler? He might have got one as well. I don't know.
Stevie Gerrard got one.
Yeah, he did.
He did, yeah.
Stevie Gerrard.
Hope he gives the money to charity.
Yeah.
I think the likes of, what Edward says about Gomez, anyone who's been there 10 years, playing for, being like, we got him, didn't we? I think as a 16 or 17-year-old, and he's been right through for 10 years. Deserves a testimonial.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, but I also, they should give the money to a charity of the player's choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need the money now, and you don't need the money now. They can never work again. Never have to work again.
Put it towards transfer. Can put it towards our transfer kitty.
Yeah.
Put it transfer kitty. That would be good, wouldn't it? Try and get the. I know there's rumours about who are being linked with, and there's a left back. I've always said, not Kirkes, there's a left back, and who have I said? Always.
Ignore
In Cappy,
and the rumour is that we're looking at him very strongly. But as you say, George, and as you say, Dino, I don't trust the owners until I see a fella sitting up at the exit, signing it, holding the shirt up. I won't. Paul always says Dom is a bit of a. Hang on, Dom is a bit of an awe of Mo. Yeah. And looks to pass it when he should be shooting, but hopefully a couple of goals will change that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree
and
with that.
Trent is a rat. Darryl.
Is that his new name?
Yeah. Francolino, Dinalino, and Giorgiolino.
Don't hang back, Darryl.
Don't hang back.
But I didn't say
The vlogs. I still think we should have kept Dan's. I do.
He's injured, though. He's injured. He's still injured.
Yeah, but
he hasn't played for Sunderland yet. He's been injured the whole time he's been there.
Yeah, but didn't he get injured up there training or something?
Oh no, he was already injured when he signed.
Yeah, he was injured.
Oh, was he?
He
was speaking to him at the academy, and he was training on his own. He was injured then, about 3 months ago.
Yeah, but
the thing good player, good prospect, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think what he's saying there, though, the vlogs give him his due. If he wouldn't have been injured, and still going up to Scotland, to Sunderland, we should have kept him, rather than putting him out on loan, because he is a natural centre forwards as young. I like young Jans, I'm being honest.
Yeah, because they put them all out on loan. How many? It's mad. There's none of the young lads left. They're all out on loan.
Exactly. And Darryl says play 4 in midfield tomorrow. Szoboszlai, Jones, McAllister, Gravenberch. Well, I said that he should have done that against Newcastle. Those 4 against it, because we were playing bad at the time, and it was just to stop them. That's all gone now. God bless. Someone agrees with me. The King. Spot on, Frank, about the Plymouth game. I'm sick over that. Yeah. I'm still sick over
that. FA Cup, I'm going.
When we were celebrating, and Frank will still be going on about Plymouth.
Yeah, I'm telling you, honestly, that's sickened me, that.
Yeah.
Because I looked at it overall, and I said to George, I think I said you as well, Dino.
Yeah.
I said it shows you the depth of our squad. People think that, even Francine said, we've got a big squad. I said, but they're not good enough.
Yeah.
They're not good enough, Francine. And this is why, Slaughter's playing 1Z likes, and they're nearly blowing up.
Yeah.
Hopefully with that little break. But then again, I'm not going on about breaks.
But against Plymouth, he took a lad on and took him off again, didn't he? Lad came on as a substitute and got dragged off again.
Yeah, the right back, I mean, I felt a bit sorry for him, to be honest, because he looked like he was nowhere near ready for that level of football. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Be unfair, great point there, Frank. We look so under, third, 11. We do look under the first 11. That so-called management still running the squad like it's a 2016 season. Don't remind me of that. No. Management has a duty of care to this great club. Now spend. That's all they say. We've got to spend, and if we don't spend,
got to. In the summer,
we've got to. And for you to say that as well, George.
We do.
For you to say that we have to spend. If they have a testimonial these days, the money goes to charity, says Christopher.
Yeah, we should do.
And the IBR, even in Don Franco, Jorginho, and the young Dinalini.
You know, she didn't say young Jorginho.
No.
Or young Franco.
Oh, young Franco, yeah.
I'd like to know how young you think I am.
Could be 21 or something.
19.
Is little Darcy and Lottie looking
there? Probably.
Probably. So you're in on your own there and they're in another room.
Yeah. Who's them 2 old guys with my dad?
It's me dad getting all the mates. It's me dad.
No, I was telling Lottie about George and all, and she was going, Klopp sign George. No, it was Shankly.
Yeah, see, George, you were young for a little minute there.
Yeah, only place I'm young is on the cover. Only place I'm young is on the cover of my book.
Klopp sign George.
She's only own Klopp and she loved them.
Christopher asked George, was Billy a solicitor in his day?
He became the bursar at Liverpool University, didn't he?
But he was a solicitor.
He was a solicitor. Solicitor or an accountant, I'm not sure.
He's a magistrate.
Yeah, he became a magistrate, and you'll know, Frank. What's the bursar? What's a bursar of a university?
Looks after everything, all the finances.
Well, that's what he was, I think, at Liverpool University after he left.
Well, I don't think that you could get anyone more trustworthy than Billy Little, could you?
Not really, no. A genius.
And David say, "Hiya, Frank, George, and Dean. I hope you're all okay." Yes. What score do you think it will be tomorrow? We'll be coming to that David will be coming to the man with the greatest name in the world.
Yeah.
Steve says, let's go, champ. Hiya to Steve. Glad to for you to join us. Ali Jones, Zebu, Virgil, Robbo, Enzo, Grav, Mac, Gakko, Sabos, and Mo says the king. That's his team tomorrow. So I'm going to come to you now, boys. I'm going to come to you now. You've got your midfield, right? You've got your midfield. Now, with Jones, if he doesn't play, say, at right back, for example, and we put Quansah there because of Bradley's injury, I'd like to see Jones in a 4-man midfield. But don't take any notice of me if you disagree. So, Dino, I'm going straight to you. Now, who is you have on the right side of midfield? I don't talk about other midfielders, by the way.
On the right of midfield.
Yeah.
McAllister.
McAllister, okay. George, who would you have on the right side of midfield?
Yeah, the same, McAllister. That's his natural position.
Okay. Now, you've got Gravenberch, haven't you? Now, do you think he's a must to be in that midfield?
I like your idea of the 4. I'm beginning to like that 4 midfield. That's some midfield, if we had Curtis, Gravenberch, McAllister, and Jones. Sorry, Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
But that's a hell of a midfield to play against anybody. That should frighten anybody they're on form.
And I can't get over.
I think Curtis should play, definitely. Curtis Jones should play. So if you're going to have a 3 midfield, I'd have Curtis Jones, I'd have McAllister, and I'd have Szoboszlai.
Yeah, and I think, why do you think Ads want Jones to play tomorrow? Dino?
Because he's a scouser, because he gets it, he knows what it means to us.
Spot on.
Got to play him tomorrow.
4-man midfield. Okay, so Dino, so you use your third in midfield as a Gravenberch alongside McAllister.
Gravenberch is obviously he's actually benefited of a full 2.5 weeks rest. So Gravenberch his legs will be back, no doubt about it. So yeah, Gravenberch definitely plays in midfield.
Yeah, so, I hope his legs have come back because he's been struggling a bit in the last 3 or 4 games. Heavy legs, not form.
Yeah. Okay, so I mentioned Dino, staying to you. Georgia is more or less agreed. That looks formidable. That 4 in midfield with Jones there. Would you like that idea?
Yeah, because any one of them can come through and support the 2 up front.
Yeah, I like the idea of it, but also I think if you just had the 3 in midfield, you've also got the ability to change it and switch to a 4-2-3-1 and all that. So there's plenty of room for swapping and changing in the game if need be. But certainly, I couldn't argue either really. I'd be happy with either, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, strong.
No, okay. Let's be hypothetical. And we've got 4 in midfield. I'm staying with you, Gino. Sorry, mate. Staying with you. Who's your front 2 be? Just come out with them. Your front 2. Who's your have up there?
Well, Mo definitely. I'd go for Luis Diaz.
Well, okay. I think that's a good show. What about you, George?
I think Luis Diaz is more flexible than Gakpo. I think he can play down the middle, he can play out on the left, he can run around, come back. Gakpo's there to come on if he's needed to come on. On those circumstances, I would go along with there. I would say Diaz and Salah. They've proved themselves, fast, they're fit, they should be rested, and Gakpo's here to come on as well, so we can bring him on any time during the game, and you can change a game.
Okay. Callum
Forget
says,
about it. Yes, what about Chiesa? What's going to happen to him? Is he going to get a look in?
well, you stole me tons of there, to be honest, George.
Sorry, Frank.
But I was going to say, do you think, I'll stay with you now, do you think Chiesa deserves some minutes tomorrow and on the run till the end of the season?
Suppose it's never. Obviously, it's going to depend on how the game's going. It depends on how the game's going, really. But I don't think he'll start. It'd be a bit of a surprise if he puts him in ahead of Diaz or Gakpo. Certainly won't go in ahead of Salah. So I think it'll depend on what's happening in the game. But I think he'll have a part to play tomorrow. I mean, he deserves a chance to get in there and create a little bit of a magic, and justify his fee, and so we can see what he's all about. Because he's been playing quite well. He played it. I was only on a short time in Wembley, but he got the goal from a lovely pass from Elliott. Stuck it away well, and he's looked quite good actually, apart from Plymouth, which everybody was rubbish. So yeah, I think he deserves a chance sometime during the game, maybe after 60 minutes.
Okay. No, what's your take on that? Do you know?
Yeah, I love recency bias in the modern game. I think with a player who's been missing and he doesn't do much, but then he comes on and he scores in a game where the team have underperformed. I think everyone seems to jump on it a bit. Personally, for me, I wouldn't be averse to coming on with 15-20 minutes to go if the game needed something different. But yeah, I mean, as far as like getting more than that for me, not at the minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting to you, George. Dino says he's have up front. So would you have up front?
You mean if it's two, for me it would be Diaz and Salah.
Diaz and Salah.
Yeah.
So therefore, Salah. I mean, Diaz. No matter what, even if we play three in midfield and three forwards, Diaz is a set to play.
Yeah, he runs and runs and runs and runs and stops.
He does run, and people don't give him credit for that. I remember him getting some stick last year, and I mean awful stick. And they were forgetting that when we were under pressure, our defence, they just lobbed it out to him. Diaz, and he ran right up there to the opposition half, the opposition box, and to relieve. He was given loads of relief to our defence when they were under immense pressure.
When he's on form, he's dangerous. When he's on form, he looks unplayable. But then he can be poor. But we just got to hope he's on form and he gives it 100%. But Gakpo's there. Gakpo's a great thing to have in hand there because he's changed a few games when he came on.
Yeah. The Emperor Ross says, I saw that stat the other day on player incomings with Chelsea top on 55 incomings and our club second from bottom with 14. It shows we buy quality over quantity, but now we need a bit more.
Need quality in the summer.
We've got to have quality, absolutely. And the IBR says every time McAllister plays after coming back from from South America, he's been hopeless. That's what he says.
Normally, though, he comes back and he's playing within 2 days of being back.
Yeah, that's right, Dean.
So this time he's had a good 7-8 days off. So there's no excuses for anyone.
No, not this time. This time. Paul Owie to Steve, he says FSG are in no hurry and hope to start negotiations in August. For players, that is. For players. Edward says, I'd give Chiesa a go. Looks better than Jota and Nunes.
Yeah, well, Jota's been plagued by injuries. He's not been quite the same player since he's been injured.
And Steve says, my two at the top in a 4-4-1-1, Mo and Chiesa. That's who he says. Mo and Chiesa. Diaz running with no end product means nothing in footy, says Steve.
He scored a few goals this year.
There you go. And the Prem game is where the rot sets in. Should be winning everything. Certain YouTube pods made it out. Didn't matter. Sorry, but they are arrogant idiots. Say Steve.
Yeah, every game matters, especially at that level.
Of course. And did all our forwards score on the international break? I know Gapco and Diaz did, but not sure of the others. I didn't watch any of them, I'm being honest. I didn't.
Yeah, all
Italy. Go on, Zeno. What did you say, mate? Sorry.
all three of them scored, including Mo.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. That's
That
good.
shows, yeah. Yeah, that's Callum said, Salah did as well.
McAllister scored as well, didn't he, against Brazil?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Good goal.
Yeah. I've seen that goal, funny enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, seen that. He cut in, didn't he, and just hit it. Cracking goal. And the King says, not for me, Diaz. Wouldn't trust Jota or Nunes in this game either. I hope we get a stronger midfield. A DM is a must in the summer. We've been saying that. I've been saying that now when we're coming up to the summer for three seasons.
Yeah, you've been saying that since I've been on with you.
But it's who we get and who we go after. But it's whether we sign them. But we need, next season, we definitely need quality. I don't want cheapos. I really don't. Open, potential. Open that they'll become good. We can't afford that. We're Liverpool Football Club.
We need big players. We need big players this summer.
Yeah, of course. That's what put us out against PSG, in my opinion. The lack of quality players, coming in the summer, even in the winter. We were saying that, Dino and myself, about quality players coming in. And there was no one there. We blew up. And Slot saying today, we played great. Well, to be honest, Arnie, we should have played a little bit better, mate. You can't say, and the goal we gave away, and you're saying we played great. I'm sorry, mate. That annoyed me today, and being on Paul Owie to Steve. Diaz's best game was City last season when he ran Walker ragged, but he had 3 1-on-1s and didn't get a shot on target. The King says, been saying a DM for 3 seasons now.
Yeah.
I've been saying it as well. But, no one takes any notice of it. It's like anything, if you're political, we're all shouting about Starmer and, no one listens to us because Starmer is Klopp signs Enzo a DM, says the Red Rebellion.
Well, I suppose the nearest thing we've got to one.
He did actually. And Steve says to the panel, would you be okay with FSG bringing in these players on a free this summer? That is Sané, David, Gomez. Well, to be honest, that's who they look out for, frees. The owners look out for frees. I want this in Cappy. I really want in Cappy. I want Zubamendi, but we're not going to get them.
Yeah, well, these are the sort of players we need to get. I've said it many times. We need players like Isak. That's what we need, really. Players at that level. Kerkez and others.
And the King says a bit more quality than Enzo, mate.
I agree.
This is it.
We'll be moving a few on as well. He might be one of them. We'll be moving a few
Yeah,
on. Nunes,
I think he'll be going.
Indo, get some money for them.
And the Redbird says, to be fair, our Samurai Warrior, Endo, doesn't let us down when he's on the pitch. You're right.
He's never let us down.
You're right. And the Red Rebellion, Klopp rated Endo. Of course, that's why he brought him in. And Steve says, may not choice this summer. My number one choice here, this summer for the defensive mid is Edison from Atalanta. No, I wouldn't mind him.
Good player.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah.
The sort of quality you want.
Edison, good quality Brazilian player. Yeah. And Klopp also rated Nunes at 85 million. But I don't know whether you know this, lads, that we haven't paid that 85 million because it's only 65 million because he hasn't had that. He hasn't done the quota or something.
Yeah, he hasn't hit the incentives.
Yeah. All these transfers are on in never.
Every cloud.
Yeah.
The outfield. Mohamed Amora scored 5 goals. Watch them, and this lad will be amazing for us. Algerian, the new Mo, says the Anfield Row.
I've not seen him.
I wanted that Mamouche.
He scored 5 goals in an international game.
That Mamouche was brilliant.
He is. Yeah, he's scoring goals for City.
Yeah, I think he's brilliant. Yeah. And we were linked to it. Then again, we get linked with these players. And
do the scouting.
Sorry?
We seem to do the scouting for everyone else. The first time you hear of a player being linked with Liverpool, you can guarantee
it. Get them, other teams get them. Well, we don't get them because we won't pay the money. It's as simple as that. And the Red Rebellion says about Nunes, our record signing. You're right there, man. And the King, okay, sounds. We have Enzo. We don't need a DM. Answer the Red Rebellion. Steve says, would you lads be happy if these players signed this summer? Incapi, yes. Edison, yes.
Yeah.
What's that name?
Etikiki, is it?
Etikiki. Who's Etikiki?
I don't know him, no. No, the other two.
I don't know Etikiki, Steve. I really don't, mate.
I've seen a name bandy. I don't know much about him, like.
Slot plays Enzo and overplayed Gravenberch, so a top DM is still needed this summer, says the IBR. I agree.
He doesn't rate him. It's that simple.
Yeah. Where's Snapey?
Here he is.
Didn't know you were on. Yes, go away, Snapey. You're being lying there looking at. Didn't know you were on tonight, boys and girls. And of course, those who are yet to self-check. You see, he's been there all the time, looking, saying, what can I say? So winds up Frank. That's what he's been saying. We know you, Stevie Snake. Sign Edison and put him in. Put him next to Gravenberch in a double pivot and move McAllister higher up the pitch next season in a 4-2-3-1. I'd love him, Cappy, I'm being honest. I'd love him. FSG will sign Chiesa, wife for the women's team, on a free. She's lovely here, isn't she? A nice Italian lady.
Oh, they're all lovely.
Yeah.
All footballers' wives are lovely, Frank.
Yes.
You've seen mine.
Yes. Certainly have, mate. Certainly have.
Should have seen her when she was young.
It makes no difference, does it? Because you still see them like that.
Yeah.
My missus could have been Paula's wife easy.
What happened?
She met me.
She did the right thing.
I'm not going into that. So, you know, I was looking at Liam Neeson, and he's got a new girlfriend, and I went, blimey. And it's that Pamela Anderson.
Oh yeah, the old yeah.
That's great, that though, because you know, like when his wife, he was devastated, that fella, and he just buried himself into work. He made some good films, some awful ones, but that was just the work he buried himself into. And I'm glad to see someone like that, you know. Someone, and that girl, you know, Pam. I think I know her, wouldn't you? Like, but Pamela Anderson, she's not wearing any makeup because she got fed up with it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
As she is, and I think that's great. You know, it's coming from, you know, one of these Hollywood style things. Me and Pam. Could you imagine me and Pam?
Yeah,
McMahon over ad boards. Beardsley, Aldo, goal, good old memories. Say Steve.
Arsenal, Arsenal 87. That.
Yeah, 87. Wow.
Yeah. You know, it's strange, isn't it? You know, like what Dino said before. I think it was Darcy or Lottie. And when you were talking about George, the club signed George. And, you know, there's people today, and I'm talking about young lads who, you know, like my grandson Ben, he's 20. And he wouldn't know going back, you know, to the likes of the 80s.
No.
And the likes of, you know, Kenny becoming a player manager, you know, before him, Joe Fagan, Bob Paisley, any of them, if you know what I mean. And yet we can relate to them. We can relate to anyone, you know, going right up to Klopp, our last great manager. The others, you know, people have always said to me, who's the greatest manager of Liverpool? And I said, the greatest manager to build Liverpool the way it is today was Bill Shankly. He knew exactly what he wanted. And he left a squad of players, and I said about Klopp as well, left a squad of players that Bob came in, just carried on. Didn't win nothing for the first season, but then look what he achieved. Then Joe took over, won it in his first season, a treble. People forget this. Then Kenny took over and nearly won us a back-to-back double. We'd never won a double before Kenny did it. You see, and these are great managers.
It's like a non-stop documentary, isn't it? From all them years, there's no other club that's got that continuity. Shankly left a great coaching team as well, and the coaching team then became the man. Then it went on and on and on. It's like Coronation Street. Every episode's in the next series, and never seen a club like Liverpool to have that history. That I couldn't tell you who was Chelsea's manager in 1958.
No. But we can, who our managers were.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. We can. No matter how old you are.
And the players as well. Look at the players we've had.
It's like get an Arsenal supporter, you know, just anyone. Just say, who is your best scout? Now, we know who our best scout is.
20 men, yeah.
20 men. Greatest scouts. The players that he brought in. Now, they wouldn't know that. They wouldn't know that. If you know what I mean. Even like today's lads, I'm not saying, like my grandson, let's just pick my grandson, Ben. And I'd say, you know, Liverpool has a great scout. What do you mean, Grant? That's a great scout. They wouldn't know that. They wouldn't know what scouts were. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, they used to stand on the line in the junior games and everything, and would travel all over the country watching kids.
Watching kids, exactly.
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I just used to watch Liverpool videos like religiously. Like I used to know the words and I used to know the commentary to goals and everything. I used to like do John Motson commentaries in my back garden and everything.
Brilliant. No, that's fantastic, and that's just what it's all about.
Yeah, you mentioned there John Motson and there's Barry Davis, Gerald Sinstad every Sunday.
Yeah.
John Motson is standing in a snowstorm with a big sheepskin coat and trying to commentate.
Motson, yeah. And they were like great times. They were like when you could go in and get a player like in the mid-season because that's what Liverpool did. You fancy coming to Liverpool? Yeah, okay. We were getting players at that, not waiting there like in windows or anything, and then you have the tap-ups or whatever. That's what made teams great, actually. That's what made teams and very hard to beat. They say about the Premier League, being hard to beat, a great team. It was going back to Paisley and Shankly's day as well. Some great teams. And I always remember when we beat Wolves and Wolves got relegated and Bob said, they went to Bob Paisley and said, you've just put down Wolves. He said, we didn't put down Wolves. It's the whole of the season when they've been losing games. I didn't put them down. Liverpool didn't put them down. And it was a great replay. He wasn't nasty when he said it.
No.
Like Bob was never nasty, talking to reporters.
No,
it's just the way he said it. It wasn't us who put them down. They've been playing all season. And unfortunately, they lost games.
Bob must have been the least charismatic manager in the game ever, but the most successful.
Yeah, exactly. Steve, when I mentioned that Atiki is a young player, talented French player that plays in the German league, and he's very similar to Isak at third of the price. Thanks for that. I haven't a clue who he is there, Steve. Honestly, I haven't a clue.
Yeah, Steve's the new Jeff 20 man.
Yeah, but that's where the team. That's what Anfield should be doing. Edwards and Hughes. They should look at these boys.
Blimey, Hughes. Snapey says, nah, straight. I didn't know you were on. Being on the FaceTime thing, talking to a mate in jet. Oh, good. Truthfully, though next door's changed his Wi-Fi passwords, you think it was him who pays to it.
What a character.
He's nuts, Snapey's nuts. And his Wi-Fi. That's true, Gino. Our analysis and identifying as being copied, says the Anfield Row. I do hope we change that and keep our targets, hushed, especially with Chelsea and Arsenal on our shoulders. But to be honest, it could be a ploy because we buy no one, as you know. And, leak out that who we're after. Maybe someone will go in and get them, and they do. And I'm very cynical now. I've never been cynical of Liverpool Football Club, but I'm not cynical at the club. I'm cynical at the owners, to be honest. And I still say that was a big spin over Casino.
Oh, yeah. They were never going to pay 110,000 for him.
No way.
Another 40 million, another million, and another 40 million for the other lad.
No.
Both went to Chelsea. A lot of good is done now.
What was his name?
Javier.
Javier, that's him.
They haven't exactly pulled any trees up at Chelsea, have they?
Liverpool alone at 3 points in the 80s as well before you.
3p.
Yeah. But the Man United fans and everybody else associated with Man United say, "Oh, that doesn't count. How doesn't it count?"
Why?
Because we've done it.
Listen, boys. I'm going to ask you now. Sorry to do this before we end. Before it's cocoa time for me and George.
Yeah, I'm pulling.
I'm on the cocoa
I'm
trail.
making my wife work hard. I said, you've got to get ready an hour earlier.
It's the cocoa trail with George, me and George.
Yeah, we're both on it now, aren't we? I
Oh,
want to
well,
try it, Dean, you know. I want to try it, Dean.
I'm only 40, like, but what the hell? I'll have a cocoa as well.
Honestly, do you know what?
Not Coke, cocoa.
When George went at it, one night it was just like out the blue, you know, we were talking and he was going, he said, Carol's just made me cocoa. And I went, cocoa? And anyway, he vanished. And I was out with Francine shopping. And I said, Francine, go and see if there's a pot of cocoa or whatever they are, you know. She said, Dad, what do you mean a pot of cocoa? I said, get me some cocoa. Anyway, she got me the cocoa. Dino. Honestly, it's Moorish. It's Moorish, mate. Lovely. So I have one every night. And it puts me asleep, you know. Puts me asleep. Didn't have any the other night, though. I couldn't bloody sleep. Steve says, I loved our scouting system under the boot room era, where scouts used their brains and engaged it with their eyes to shine.
I think Ronnie Yates was a scout. Ronnie Yates was a scout for head of the scouting for a while, wasn't he?
And Steve says, Frank George, FSG only bids $11.10 for their Casado, knowing he had decided months ago he only wants to join Chelsea. FSG new Casado would never sign for them. Loads of fans fell for this PR stunt.
You're quite right, Steve. You're spot on.
Absolutely, Steve. Well said, mate. Well said. So, Dino, I know you don't like giving predictions. You don't have to give a prediction, by the way.
All I'll say is that the city is red.
Okay, that'll do, mate. George?
Yeah, I think it'll be 2-0 for Liverpool. Oh. It's going to be 2-0 for Liverpool.
Well, there's a few who's given their predictive scores. And Steve says 3-0 tomorrow. Poor Louis. They must be selling plenty of cocoa at Goodison, as them bits of blue nose relegation judges are always fast asleep.
Nice one. Well, it gives me energy. I play golf 3 times a week.
I don't know. I can't wait for my cup of coffee. Do you know what I have? Genuine. I'll go in. I'll have a cup of tea first, you see. So I'll sit there, relax, watch whatever. And then before I go to bed, I have the cocoa. And you know the way you can't wait for it? And you make it last. Then you go to bed and still can't sleep. No, I can't. I can sleep after the cocoa.
Like a new man, Frank.
Like a new man, absolutely. 1-1 says the King.
Oh.
After a slow...
Not good enough. We need to win.
Need to win, yeah. And Everton again have broken FFP and PSR rules, says Steve.
Yeah. We'll be getting a decision soon on Man City, won't we? Should be any time now.
Yeah, but every week it's...
then it'll be appealed. Then it'll be an appeal. Another 2 years.
Yeah. Christopher, 4-0 Liverpool and show the league who's boss.
I'll be dancing all over the house if that's true, bloody hell.
Always struggle after a long break, says the King. Well, I'm doing a watch-along tomorrow, if anyone wants to join me. I'll be doing a watch-along. It should be fun.
Remember, take your blood pressure tablets, Frank.
God, blimey. Honest to God, I said after the first one, I only edited the first one, and I said, I'm never doing that again. Because it's so frustrating.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's as though I'm there, you know, when I watch the game and shouting at the telly and everything else, and everything comes out. I think our Francine's going. I think she's going.
That's
But
right.
anyway, the Callum says 3-1 the Reds. David Shakespeare, 4-0. So there's confident lads there.
Yep. Like that.
Yeah, there's a question for you. Lads, is the title won or nearly won? Dino.
Well, I've been asked that a few times recently, and I've got turned around and said, no, it's not won. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh, typical Liverpool supporter. You've won it. You're walking. No, I don't believe anything's won until the last chance for the opponent to overtake you. In my heart, I think we've won it. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the facts state that.
I think that's what he's saying. I think that's what the lad's saying, to be honest.
Things can turn, they can turn.
Steve is saying, it's in the arts, isn't it? And it's like signing a player.
Yeah.
It's like signing a player, let's hope, but I won't.
It's like Dino said to you before. If we win the next two games, I'll start thinking, yeah, that's it.
But what we have always said, George, as you know, it's ours to lose it. And we go back to Christmas when we went ahead,
Yeah.
When we never ever said we're going to win it.
Yeah, teams have been in this position before and lost it. We won't, I don't think, not for a minute.
Exactly. And Steve says, as Trent confirms he's leaving, no one knows yet.
Not officially.
We beat Everton 3-1, says Callum. 8 years today. Ironically, Mane's first goal.
8 years.
Yeah. Lads, was the title won under?
Yeah,
I don't mention that.
Stevie slipped. Stevie slipped, didn't he? Against Chelsea.
The 3 games to go. I don't mention that fella's name, that manager.
Crystal Palace game as well.
All but one, hopefully, we get it will and star with 3 or 4 dominant performances. That's a good shout, that, Paul Owie. That's a great shout. And Anfield, Liverpool 3, Everton 1. He'll never walk alone. Keep that Moyes from the elusive victory. He's never won, has he?
No, I'll be surprised if he does.
I want the title won against Chelsea, and I want the Arsenal players giving us the applause.
I want it won when we're in Anfield. I don't want it won at Chelsea.
Yeah, I'd like to see it won at Anfield, against Arsenal.
Or Tottenham.
Well, let's hope that tomorrow night's game is going to be a good one. Let's hope for a win. A win that will knock the stuffing again out of anyone who's chasing us.
Give everybody a lift one after the last few games.
Give me a lift. It'll give Dino a lift. Give
everybody,
all the lads on the chat. Give everyone a lift.
Can't wait for the game. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. And Christopher says, we didn't have a 12-point lead then. We're going to win the league.
Yeah.
That's what Christopher says.
You're right, Christopher, definitely.
And on that fine note, lads, Dino, thank you.
Thank
you so much. George, again, thank you. And I'll see you sometime next week, George, if you want to come down. Not this week.
Should be able to next week. Yeah, next week I'll be in town. I'm going to see Red or Dead on Thursday night. At the Royal Court in Liverpool.
I've seen when she said it was Dad. She said it's brilliant.
I believe it's brilliant. I'm going with Jeff Goulding and Gordon Wallace. We've been invited
as
guests.
And she said the fella, who plays the Shanks is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. There'll be a few goosebumps and a few tears maybe. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Frank. I'll let you know how it goes anyway. Anyway, nice to be on with you again, Dean.
Yeah, on you, mate. Take care.
Good. Yeah, make sure we get them points tomorrow night, mate. I'll be jumping up and down. Okay, Frank, I'll see you next week, Frank. And
brilliant. Mate, see you next week. I want you to, when you're over again, to come and see me, okay?
I will, Frankie. Yeah, all right. Good night, everybody. God bless.
Coco. Let's go for this Coco. the Anfield Road. Oh, Frankie, the watch alonger's back. Love that, especially because Stevie and Zaz is going to the game. I look forward to that, Frankie. Thanks very much, Anfield Road. I hope you can stand the swearing. Snapey says, we need to come out firing tomorrow. And we do, don't we?
We do.
IBR, thank you guys. Thank you, IBR, for joining us. The Anfield, when I saw the fixtures, I'd like us to get the title done before Arsenal and Chelsea matches.
Yeah.
I agree there. Anytime I'd like it done. You know, so that we've got it, so that it's there, you know, and no one can take it away from us.
Therefore.
Right, you all take care. You never walk alone, says Lee the Whiz Kid. And this fucking thing, little granddaughter's not watching. Early goal tomorrow. I hope so, Callum. I really hope so.
Open the game up for us.
Sorry, go ahead.
I say it would open the game up for us.
Not half. Not half. There's open. There's not too much clowning around after all that cocoa. Six me. I thought you were going for a cocoa. Yeah, I am going for one now. No, a cup of tea first, then cocoa before I go to bed. That's right, what then. I do. Best wishes to FC and all supporters on the chat, says the boss. Best wishes to whoever is selected. Support all the players, whoever you prefer. Good night, all. Good night, boss. Thank you so much. Boss is the capo di tutti capi. He's the boss of all us bosses. Dino, thank you. See you next week.
Up the cocoa sup in red.
Say good night to little Darcy and Lottie for me.
I will do. Care of yourself. See you later. Up the Reds.
See you later. See you, Dino. Ta-ra, mate. And that's it, just for me to say, you know, thanks to Dino, thanks to the great George Scott. And it's us, isn't it, tomorrow against them. It's us against them tomorrow. Night, lads, says the Snakey. Paul Owie. Where did he go? Paul Owie. It would be nice to win against Arsenal at Anfield. That's 89 still ahead. Yeah, when Michael Thomas, and we bloody signed him afterwards. Scored that goal against us and he did that somersault. And he stood on his head somehow. Night, Frank and Tino and everyone. Up the Reds, hit the like button, everyone. Thank you so much, Christopher. Thank you. See you, lads. 3 points make the city red again. You never walk alone, says Callum. Great show to get your cocoa. Go get your cocoa. Thank you, says the Anfield Road. Yeah, George has gone to get his. I'm going to get mine. Dino will be here doing the cocoa now for himself as well. So it's just for me to say, without you lot, and I don't mean it like you lot, if you know what I mean. Without you fellas, you know, be nothing, no pod, no nothing. And if anyone's out there that just joined us, subscribe, get the algorithm up there, please. And see you all tomorrow night. Not all late, but I'll be doing a watch along. Taking a show myself. And Callum says, best run on the pitch if we draw. That's what the Blues do, isn't it? That's what the Blues. Thomas could barely walk when he signed for us, let alone do somersaults. You're right there. I couldn't understand that signing. That's the way we are. But anyway, as I said, this will be in full cry tomorrow. These lads here. Arrivederci, Franco. Arrivederci. Amico mio. IBR. See you, boys. See you tomorrow, hopefully. All right, watch you along. Mille grazie. Ciao tutti. Ciao bello.